Hey folks, Lester and Jamie here. Welcome back. I guess Deanna Denmark, who's in Denmark. That's pretty creative.
Pretty awesome.
Says, welcome back. It's almost time for bed here in Denmark.
I
It's
feel like it's
almost
almost time
time
for
for
bed.
bed here. Yeah, it's only 3 in the afternoon. 3 in the afternoon. And listen, it's time for bed here because it's been an exhausting weekend, but we're very blessed, man. We're so blessed. We're just getting back a couple of hours ago here to I'm a Survivor after a really fun weekend that we had hanging out with some really good people in Oklahoma. And I'll tell you what, traveling is tough. And Jamie and I, as you guys know, we've talked about it a little bit. We were invited to be presenters at a video creators. They called that. What was the title of that thing? United?
Video Creators United.
Yeah, VCU, Video Creators United, which is something that Sean from Keeping It Dutch, along with Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, kind of got together, and they've been to these things around the country a few times, and so they kind of thought about a little bit, and how could we find one for creators that are small creators that are wanting to expand and grow their platform, grow on their platforms. And so we were blessed that they invited us. You guys already know this, but I thought it was kind of a secret that Jamie's the brains behind this operation. I thought I didn't know you guys all knew that. But supposedly Daniel calls it out that we're going to invite Jamie to talk because she is the brains behind I'm a Survivor. It's true.
No, they invited Lester to talk because he's the world's best storyteller. Let's
So
face it.
I'm not the world's best storyteller. My dad is a lot better storyteller than I am.
Well, you get
But
it.
my dad can tell stories, but I create stories. That's the difference. My dad, if you know my dad, Paw, hanging with Paw, my dad can tell stories, and he can take a pretty mundane, kind of boring story, and he can make it a whopper, as the old folks say. The boomers, he can make it a whopper. And so my dad can tell some whoppers. And if you guys follow my dad, you know that every morning he'll get on that side by side, he'll put that dog there beside him, old Heidi, and he'll go off and he'll tell some whoppers of the old days, of the old times. And my gift from that is that I have learned to create some stories using the babies here on the farm. And I guess Daniel likes them stories. I guess Daniel likes my stories.
I
And,
never thought of it that way, that Daniel likes story time, but
Daniel
I guess
must
so.
like story time. Well, he did admit, he and DJ said that they watch very little TV. They spend most of their nights there right before bed watching YouTube videos. And so I guess in a way I might be telling Daniel and DJ their bedtime stories. If you think about it, who's to say what they watch right as they doze off and fall asleep? But it might be them having dreams of Pig Trudy rolling around in her hot dog or whatever she's eating that day, or Carl going out for a run with his little munchkins, teaching them the beauty of flight school with your geese. Who knows what Daniel and DJ are watching? But nonetheless, we were invited to present. Um, we were invited, and you can jump anytime. We were invited to present separately. Me on the art of storytelling, and Jamie on the differences between the social media platforms, because they are in fact very different. I'm going to have to stop talking because everyone is saying, Lester, let Jamie talk. And she's free to talk. Jamie, you guys know there's a lot of women that might kind of sit in the back behind their husbands. Jamie does not take a back seat to me ever. And if you think that she needs an invite to talk, you're wrong. She
I'll
will
jump
in whenever she's ready.
I also have this power tool right here where I can be like, just let me speak, or I can grab his leg.
She does that.
What was funny is I made a little reel of you. You probably don't even know this exists yet. I made a reel yesterday when you were getting ready to talk and you were doing the mic testing or whatever.
Yeah.
And the sound guy cameraman Ron. He was like, Jamie, I got a tool for you. And I'm like, oh, great. Thinking to myself, like, oh, I have a clicker or something because I'm pushing the slides. No, he showed me the mute button.
To shut me up.
Just in case you went over your time. Just in case. That was all it was for. It was not meant to be mean. So many people in the comments on that reel took it as like, Jamie, you could never, that's the meanest thing you've ever said to Lester about Lester. And it's the meanest thing you've ever said. And the world would be a horrible place. And I went back and I was like, oh my, I didn't mean it like that. It was a joke of like, because he tends to ramble a little bit. So sometimes, or he says things that are like, you can't say that here. That was it. That was the funny part.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like Jamie's presentation was point on. She says that mine was pretty good as well. So
outstanding.
But the funny thing, if you think about it, there were only 2 presenters out of the whole lineup who went over their allotted time. There were 2 presenters. Now listen to me. Let's see if y'all can figure out which 2 people went over. We were allotted 45 minutes.
Plus a 15-minute window for questions. And 2 people went over the whole hour.
Yeah, only 2 presenters went way over their allotted time. Who do y'all think those 2 presenters were? I'm looking for people who think they know which 2 presenters would have been the ones to go over their allotted time. The presenters okay, here we go. Jason and Jamie, okay. Daniel and Lester, okay. Someone saying for sure you, Lester. Someone says, duh, we know it was you, Lester. So here we go, Lester, Daniel and Jason. So, okay, so you all know that for the most part, Lester was one of those presenters who went over his allotted time. He was the one that Sean, who was leading the thing, had to be doing this too, like walking around doing this. How hard is it for me to be trying to stay engaged and focused?
He didn't do it till it was past time.
And so then he made Jamie start doing it. So now I'm.
Oh no, I didn't do this. I went. You're 10 minutes over.
I'm trying to have an effective, get these guys off on a right foot and help them make their way. And I have these 2 over here, Sean, Dutch, and Jamie over there. But
here's the thing. There was no point where you actually got sidetracked, which I was really impressed with because we all know Lester has a few squirrel moments. But you were on track with your speech the entire time. People were asking questions, and that sort of prolonged your talk. Outside, if we would have removed all of the questions that happened, sort of like interjected in there,
yeah,
your timing would have actually been on point. Like I don't mean that in a joking way or anything else. Like you answered and kept the thing going, with the exception of one time when I was like, actually, we'll save those questions until later, because it wasn't relevant to your talk.
Right.
But for the most part, you never got off track, and I was so impressed.
Wow. And that doesn't happen very often. But the other presenter who also went over their time, who had Sean pointing at his clock, and then finally I had to say, would have been that one right there. So if we are not what they say, 2 peas in a pod, have you ever heard that expression? Have you ever heard that expression?
Yeah.
When you guys did that clip with Jason live, Lester talked the whole time. Jason said 2 words. Is that true?
It's only like a minute live. Come on.
That's sad. That's kind of sad. I didn't even realize that. I'm having to do a couple of things over here on the side.
It was only like a minute long, and it was in between sessions, so it wasn't like that big of a deal.
Can do. We can actually give Jason a chance to talk for himself now.
Oh.
We can actually. You want to do that?
Sure.
We can just give Jason a chance to talk to himself for himself right now. How about we do this over here? This is a game that Jamie actually created, and it was a lot of fun. And Jamie can tell you all about her game.
We did a little YouTuber trivia, know your creator. It was an icebreaker for the event. I'm a big fan of being interactive with the people in the room. I don't like to just talk to people. I want people to ask questions. I want people to feel. I want people to learn. I want people to tell me if they can't hear or they don't understand what I'm talking about, if I'm talking way over their heads, that type of thing. And I also want people to know that it's meant to be include them. So whenever we talked about this event, I told Lester, I have a really fun idea that I think would be funny and inclusive. And I said I want it to be about know your creator, because everybody that was coming could have known or might not have known each presenter. And of course, these guys are the big guys. So I went ahead and
introduce everybody. Introduce them all.
Okay, we have Jason from Cog Hill Farms. We have this hunk right here. We have Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and we have Sean from Keeping It Dutch. Right? Keeping It Dutch?
Keeping It Dutch.
Okay.
Now his name is Sean, but he actually goes by Dutch.
Yes.
And there were some folks who they know the Arms family. They know Daniel. They know of Jason at Cog Hill. They know that family. But we haven't talked a whole lot about Dutch. In fact, that was my first time meeting Dutch. And we've followed his page for a while. Dutch doesn't really deal with a whole lot of animals as much as he does like carpentry. He's a lot of the off the grid home building. He drives a skid steer.
He does skills. His wife Brandy coordinated the whole event. Like it was really neat, and had people from all different walks of life, and then all different creators who followed different pages as well. So I asked all the wives and the creators for some things about them in their videos that were not like well known, but were about them that maybe people would know. So for instance, one of them was,
so everybody in the audience had these two things in their hands. They were ready for the game.
Lester and I had blisters on our hands from cutting all these things and stapled and gluing the night before. We had total craft hour.
Yeah.
So one of the first questions that I asked was, I think it was
about the bunker.
Oh yeah, which creator got their big video by installing a bunker?
So maybe you guys might know. Let's play and see how well you know these 4 video creators. So which of these 4 creators got their start in social media by building an underground bunker, storm shelter type bunker? Anyone think they might know the answer to that? So I'm watching.
I see some answers.
Look at this, Amy.
That's impressive.
Amy, it went to Amy. I'm so sorry. You were the first, but it went by so darn fast. But I can't pull it up now, Amy. I'm so sorry. A lady named Amy said it first, but yes, it was in fact Dutch. Dutch was, like I said, he's kind of the off-grid type guy, and he bought and had installed a storm shelter / bunker that was going to be his, what do they call that, bug out place?
Yeah.
And just in case everything all goes haywire.
And his video about that got millions of views.
Yeah.
And that is what got him into really video creation and kind of made his channel big. And the next one I asked was which creator retired from the police force?
Which creator retired from the police force? Did anyone know that one? And of course, everyone was thinking about it. So of course, the people that know these creators who have been watching those channels for a long time were real fast to say it. And what'd they say?
So what's funny is you would look out into the audience and everybody's holding up their sign like they're in some auction or whatever, and holding up these faces, waving them around. It was really neat. And one of the questions was, which creator is known to cry on camera?
Which creator is known to cry on camera? Now, I will say that I had no part in creating any of these questions. And it was a little bit embarrassing, Jamie, to be honest. I'm sitting there in front of grown men, lots of grown men. And I had to let them know that I have you remember the water boy, the medulla oblongata, and I don't have one of those.
What?
I was not born with I have a very tiny medulla oblongata, which I guess is some kind of a thing. But
so then there was a creator that said, one of the creator questions was, which creator's pig picked the Super Bowl winner 2 years in a row?
This is a funny one. Winch Creators Pig has picked the Super Bowl winner 2 years in a row. No one's going to know that one.
No one is going to know.
I'm watching here. No one's going to know that one. Wait a minute. A lot of people are. Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. Jamie? Could this be? Now, do we have any volume on this? Jason?
Oh,
Do
now.
you see what I see? Now, hold on.
Now.
We can't hear Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I have to turn it on here.
We cannot hear Jason. Jason,
Yeah,
we cannot hear
Can
you.
you click his?
I can hear you guys.
So let's mute. Click on here.
Jason, give us a second over here.
Edit mic. Well, he should be able to hear. From
Jason, can you hear us? Jason can hear us fine. But we're not able to hear Jason.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up.
And we're going to pull it up on the phone to see what's going on. Give us 1 second, Jason. We're not as techy as.
No, we're not very good.
Wait. They can hear him, but we can't.
They can hear both of you. Oh boy, that's going to be something.
Okay, then that has to be something with my phone, Jamie, or with my computer. That's going to be delayed. Boy, we are in quite the fix. So everybody listen up. This over here is our good friend, Jason Smith from Cog Hill Farm. And we're not able to hear Jason. And it's probably all my fault. So Jason, you're going to be silent to us, but you have the rest of our audience at your disposal. So would you please just say something to everybody?
Hey, everybody.
You can say whatever you want.
Right.
I don't know how we're going to be able to fix this, but I'm going to give you the floor, Jason. So go with it. And Jamie's going to try to figure it all out.
I can't see any comments or anything. So all I can see is you guys. But yeah, how are y'all doing? How is everybody doing? Whew, I'm worn out, though. I'm going to tell you. I'm absolutely worn out. I can hear myself. It's got to be on phone, though. There's nothing on your settings.
So this is very strange because my phone is delayed. And so I can hear it like 2 seconds. So Jason's already done talking and staring, trying to figure it out as well. So, okay, we're going to have to practice this more next time.
Then we just lost Jason.
Maybe he's going to rejoin, one of those two things. But either way, that was just we wanted to say that we met Jason. Lester met Jason. I met Jason as well. I didn't get to meet Brooke. It was incredible. We could have called him and put him on the phone.
I don't know. And then we lost him. So it might be, but I'm glad everyone else could hear Jason. Guys, we're sorry about that, man.
We'll do better next time. Oh wait, he's back.
He's calling again. He's calling back. Let's see if it'll work this time. Add to stream.
Can y'all hear me now?
I still can't hear him.
What's wrong with us?
I don't know, Jamie. But my mic is not on mute. My speakers are on.
Mine's not on mute.
And there's nothing.
And
Jason.
when I go to guest, it doesn't even tell me like anything.
Okay. Well, Jason, we are very sorry, but for everyone that can hear me, if you can hear me, let me just say that I had the distinct pleasure of hanging out with this guy for almost 2 full days.
Yeah.
We talked, we laughed, we danced, we joked. We had a couple of adult beverages. I hope that that's okay with everybody. And Jason, it was a pleasure meeting you and hanging out with you. And I want you to, if you will, Jason, I can't hear a word you're going to say. So you can say whatever you want to about me and I'll never know. But I would like you to talk about your page just for a second.
Okay.
And if there's anybody on our page who doesn't know who you and your family are, just introduce you and your family and what you guys do. And just let them know a little bit about your page and what you guys do, where you're at. Just give them the whole rundown.
We'll do it. Of course, we are Cog Hill Farm. We're in Central Alabama. We just recently moved to this farm. We got a bigger farm now. We started on 7.5 acres, but now we're on 40. And yeah, it's me, my lovely wife, my daughter, Mary Carl, who most everybody knows is the bird expert. And we have an array of farm animals that are pets, similar to this awesome man over here. And that's pretty much us right there.
What to do?
You still can't figure it out.
Are you done, Jason? Are you done?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Listen, I'm sitting here watching your mouth move, so I am so very sorry. You can hear him. He said he's worn out. No more hanging out with Lester. Okay, I hate to hear that because we had a great time,
We did.
Jason, and you know you did.
We had an
And you
awesome
can
time.
always tell when you're having a great time with friends. And guys, I will say this: I have not laughed as much as I was able to laugh, and I know that I've heard Daniel say this a few times because Daniel collaborates quite a bit. We don't collaborate as much as we should. Jason and Daniel and I, we group text, and that's about all we ever get a chance to do because we stay very busy. But there's something special about hanging out with folks, collaborating, if you will, with folks who have very similar interests, very similar morals and lifestyles. And Jason is as genuine as they come. I said this last night, and it almost made him cry.
It did almost.
Oh,
make
I
me
wanted to get a tear out of him.
Hold on. Was this before or after you tried to throw him in the fountain?
No, this would have been
This was
before.
before.
The
Okay.
fountain came much
Oh,
later.
okay.
The fountain came after a few too many of those. But that was fun. We created some wonderful memories.
Yes.
And Jason, I'm so sorry that we're going to have to figure this out
We
because
gotta
I
figure
want to
this
get the dialogue and have you back at some point where
Yeah.
we can actually hear you.
I just Googled it. It's a Chrome update that we need to do.
Yeah, I don't
Figure it out.
update my things. I don't update. Jason, is there anything else you want to share before we say goodbye to you?
Just that I had a wonderful time with everybody. My first time meeting you and Jamie was just beyond my expectations. You guys,
Okay, I'm reading his lips.
yeah,
And what he's saying is Lester is probably the most amazing
yes, that's what I
guy
said.
you
Got
could
it.
ever see on the internet. If you
Got
are ever bored of a
Yes.
video or you need an idea, go to Lester's channel,
I see it.
Longhorn Lester's or I'm a Survivor. That's something like that.
I actually think that he said that he validated that Daniel was saying that I was the brains of the operation.
Oh, that's probably
And
true.
that Lester plays a really big part, but that I think I saw
That's
him go,
true.
yeah.
So anyway, Jason is also known as the dancing farmer. So for all of you folks that enjoy a lot of dancing along with just loves life and he loves his family and he loves every bit of farming from the things that grow to the living souls. And they have a lot of babies out there. They all have names and personalities. And if you need another page to watch, if you like that kind of stuff, go visit Jason at Cog Hill Farm and say
Brooke
hello.
and Mary Carl, who we did
We
not get to
don't
meet.
want to leave them
but
out.
Can't wait to. And maybe one day we'll get to meet that famous Super Bowl pig as well.
Yes.
And I can come get some gardening tips. That's on my bucket list.
Yes. And then I'll say one last thing for the people who keep saying y'all need to have a dance off. Guys, I've already admitted that there's no shame here that Jason is a much better dancer than I am. Now, of course, I only have one leg that works. So I do have my excuse. I do have an excuse. I only have one leg. I'm a little bit handicapped as far as dancing, but I can wobble it.
They said that Jason needs to finish his thought. Let him finish.
Oh, Jason's still talking. Go.
No, I'm through talking. You must be delayed.
I think he's still talking about my channel. He's still
Yeah.
talking. He's still building me up, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's still talking about me. Oh my God, look at his hat. Look at Jason's hat.
Oh,
Wow.
snap.
That says Longhorn Lester's. It's not that, right?
No, it's not that.
All right, Jason. Well, it's a pleasure, brother. We love you very much. You're a great man. We
You too,
had a lot of
buddy.
fun with you. We really did. It was
So
really
much
neat
fun.
meeting you.
The
I
best
feel
time.
bad for Jamie because I kind of felt like once I saw you from that point on, it was no more of Jamie and I.
I think that Lester must have slept outside your door last night. He just wasn't ready to part ways.
Oh man. Oh,
They
it
were
was
all
awesome.
over
time,
and-
though. It really
Sorry
was.
about that.
You guys are
You
amazing.
do. All right, Jason. We will talk to you soon, brother. Take care, and thank you for coming on and saying hi. Sorry I couldn't hear any of that, but
That's fine.
at least I know what I think you said. That's
Yeah.
all that counts, anyway.
It's close.
All what's in here.
It's
All
close
right,
enough.
goodbye, brother. Thank
Bye,
you.
buddy.
Now, how do we get rid of him? How do we kick him off? Is he going to take over our page now?
Yeah.
He's just going to take over our whole life. We're going to sit here and watch Jason, I guess. And everyone's fine with it. Everybody's like, don't leave. Just stick around. And yeah, that's great. So how do we boot this guy? How do we boot him? Boot him, Jamie. Boot him.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
He's gonna check out.
Oh, he checked out on his own. Anyway, okay, that was fun. I sure wish we could have heard what he said.
I'm sure we will later.
So someone may have to give us the cliff notes of that. Better been good stuff because oh, he said that you're both amazing. All right, thank you very much. And yes, we will rewatch our video.
We will. It really was a great time for me meeting just new people who they live in our space, and I don't mean like here in our kitchen. I mean like most of them had either homestead, farm, gardening, just I call it simple life, even though it's not so simple, but it's not big city people, tech people. It was people who do what we do and, wanted to learn more about how to take what they do and show the rest of the world. And for me, it was I think more inspiring to me to be in front of these people and to just have one-on-one time with them and to get to know them and where they are and their hopes, their dreams, their trials and the things that they have overcome in their lives it was empowering for me. It was an incredible blessing to be there.
One thing, and I don't really think that we can ever give away too much information because all of us, y'all, we are all blessed. One thing that all four of us creators of the men, along with Jami and DJ, so the six of us who presented yesterday, we're all very blessed to have found a window of opportunity into social media. We've all became a part of a large social media family, which is you all. We have people to lean on and to share things with. We go about it in different ways. We all go about it in different ways. And like I said, my presentation was about, kind of how to tell a story to entertain your audience. Jami talked about the differences in the platforms and things that you have to know. Jason talked a whole lot about knowing your audience. And I learned a lot from Jason, things that even though I've known Jason for probably 2 years now, and we've chit-chatted back and forth a number of times, Jason taught me some things yesterday that I've been doing this for 4 years, but I never realized that I've never taken time to know my audience. And once you know your audience, you can you need to gear your page towards your audience. I hope that's not Jason texting me.
Telling me we're still on his camera and can't get out.
That actually is Jason, I think. But he's actually telling us what the issue was. Did you ever click that button?
Yeah, I clicked it.
We clicked that one, Jason. But anyway, no, Jason was talking a whole lot about once he learned his audience, he began to make sure his videos were geared towards his audience. And at that point, his pages took off. And he's had several large, very large videos. But by and large, Jason is a guy that just goes out there and he loves on his babies and he loves his family. And there's a lot of neat things that you guys can get from him. If you ever need a page to follow, then we by all means say spend some time with Jason at Cog Hill, and I don't think you'll be let down. You will never be let down. And so that's pretty much the gist of it. Jami, what are you playing on your phone for? You trying to ban somebody?
Yeah.
Oh, someone's being mean. I cannot believe on such a great positive day. Hey, Jami, I got something for you. I want to share something. So I had a gift come over the weekend that I was not here to open. But when I got home, and as tired as we all are, I read through some of this, and a very sweet lady, now I'm not going to give all the details, but her name is Jane. She sent me some jokes that she wanted me to tell, some one-liners, some little one-liner jokes. And I'm going to read 2 of them to you. I'll tell you 3 jokes. These are cute. Y'all ready for this? Now listen, she sent me an entire book full of jokes. Why do you think that on Noah's Ark, they didn't play cards? It's because Noah was standing on the deck. Don't roll your eyes. That's a cute little joke. Okay, here's another one about Noah's Ark. How come on Noah's Ark they didn't go fishing? How come there was no fishing off of Noah's Ark? They only had 2 worms. They only had 2 worms. Okay, I will stop with the jokes. That's hilarious. You get about the 2s, right?
I get it. And
Okay.
so here's where I was going with that. When the first one, the cars, I was thinking about, it's got to be something about pears. It's got to be something about
They
pears.
only had 2 worms. You
No.
can't, you can't fish if you only have 2 worms, Jamie. There's another one that she told that was kind of cute, and it kind of makes me think about Longhorn Lesters. You all know that we have a little bit of a something going on at Longhorn Lesters that might very well include some indigenous Native American spirits. And so that's why I think this joke is kind of funny. A fella goes by the blood bank, and he sees one of the local Native Americans in there giving blood. And he goes in behind him to wait his turn, and he goes, "Hey, aren't you full-blood Cherokee?" The guy goes, "I used to be, but I'm a pint low now." "Hey, aren't you full-blood Cherokee?" And the Native American says, "I used to be, but I'm a pint low now." Never mind. Okay, never mind. Did we see Annie attack Pearl? How did Annie attack Pearl?
I'm so confused by that too.
So I'm guessing that I'm guessing this has to be a Jake or a Brienne video. And so we have not watched any videos. We've been too busy.
Who's Pearl? Because Annie,
Pearl's not here. Pearl is
that's
over
what
at
I'm saying.
Longhorn
Is there
Lesters.
a second
Annie.
Pearl? That's why I'm saying Annie and Punk.
So who's Punk?
Oh, that's got to be Bree's puppy.
Well, if Bree took her dog into Annie's yard, then that was a foolish mistake. Bree should have known. I did not see that, but that was a foolish mistake because Annie doesn't know Punk. That's the dog, right?
I think so.
And so that would have been very foolish on Bree's part. You have to take care of your animals. But I will say this, Annie probably only tried to scare her. So Annie would do that thing that alpacas are known for, and that would be a very rapid paw to the ground.
She generally doesn't truly attack. She will get right in front of, and then the dog, which almost every one of our dogs has been in this position, where it just cowers, and then Annie will do that in her space, or if she is overseeing like the littles out and about and she feels threatened. But
well, Annie also is letting any dog or any other species know this is our territory, and I protect this, so you're not welcome here. And so Punk will learn that lesson.
Yeah, I would say Punk, and he probably climbed through the fence. That's happened. Suki used to do it too, and she had to learn her lesson.
They've all learned their lesson.
Annie has never truly hurt any of our dogs. She knows that she's trying to scare him or her, and I just don't. I think that it is a scare tactic more than the true attack. So I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Bree made a video about it and not called us to tell us something if something really happened, really bad happened. So I'm confident that everything was fine.
Well, Annie is within her rights to defend her pastures, and we would never get on to Annie for doing that. So what has to happen is Punk has to learn that there's fences that you don't crawl under and you don't crawl through, and Punk will learn that it only takes once. I think the most beautiful story we have, and there's a video of this with Annie and a dog. We used to have a little white boxer, Huck and Hannah. We had a little white boxer, and her name was Hannah, and she was deaf. She was born deaf. A lot of times when a puppy is born, not albino, they don't call it albino, it's just white. A lot of times white puppies, for some reason, in some breeds of dogs, or they can be born blind or deaf. And Hannah was born deaf. We found out real fast that she wasn't going to be able to stay here. We were going to raise her and keep her as one of ours, but farm life was just way too dangerous for a dog that couldn't hear.
From
tractors, the UPS driver, the Amazon guys, the kids on the four-wheelers zooming by. But one time early on, and Hannah was just a puppy, and I'd gone inside the pastures to put a roll of hay, and Hannah followed me. And I'm sitting there on the tractor and I'm lowering the roll of hay, and there's Hannah sitting there waiting for me, and she's following me. And I see Annie, and Annie sees Hannah, and Annie comes running. Annie at some point began to realize that this little puppy doesn't know that she's even there. So Annie stops and she does her little spit thing. And still Hannah is sitting there looking at me on the tractor just with little puppy love eyes, has no idea Annie's behind her. So Annie could have literally sit there and smashed her into the ground, but she didn't. It's the most beautiful video ever. Annie took her paws and did this. And I'm sorry I'm shaking the table, but she did this behind Hannah. Hannah finally could feel the ground vibrating. So Hannah turns around, her eyes get big, she freaks out and takes off running. And Annie like gallops behind her all the way down the fence
to make her go out
until she left and crawled back under. And Annie's back to eating and whatever she was doing.
Incredible animal, like an incredible, and alpacas are amazing and they are protectors naturally. But Annie is like, to me, next level. Like she is, there's something so special and unique about Annie. And we have a few animals like that. I've talked about that before, but I think that Annie is amazing.
Abigail says, I remember that video of Annie stomping on the ground to get Hannah's attention. It was a very powerful video.
Incredibly powerful.
I believe that was one that we let the dodo have, and they used that when the dodo did their compilation of Annie. I believe that they put that one in there. And so a lot of people saw that video, and it was just a really, really neat moment. And that was an eye-opener for us. She saw what she thought might be a threat, a dog in her pasture with her babies, the goats, and she came over there to teach that dog a lesson. The dog had no idea because she's, unable to hear, and Annie was able to get her out. Jamie's going crazy here beside me. I don't know what's going on in all the comments.
It's all handled.
I'm just guessing there's a lot of drama. I think if y'all would just stop reading all that mess and stop arguing with each other, maybe. Just know that the focus is here, my friends. The focus is over here. So I do want to say thank you to Jacob and Brienne because we got back to the farm today. We came to I'm a Survivor first, and everything was in tip-top shape and order. The waters were clean. Everything had been done. It made me feel a little bit like, wow, what do they need us for? What do they need us for? Because the animals were content and everything was good. So I appreciate Jake and Brienne spending time here at I'm a Survivor over the past several days, taking care of our babies. And I say our babies, yours and ours. We share these guys. And now Jamie and I are going to get off here, and we're going to leave and go straight up to Longhorn Lester's and see how L.E. and Ben did with the little bit harder and the little bit less the less manageable crew. You all know that Carl and his family, along with Tex and the Biggs and Beverly, that little donkey pony. Oh my God, they can be rough. And if that's not bad enough,
Beverly is ornery. I will say
Beverly is ornery. And if that's not bad enough, then you got all them darn goats, and them goats can be ornery too. You got Tilly, who lives in the shop, who thinks she's a dog, and she will come back and she'll pop you in the kneecap as fast as she can. So we will say that as much as we appreciate Jake and Brienne for hanging out here and keeping an eye on I'm a Survivor, don't forget about L.E. and Ben, who took their weekends and spent at Longhorn Lester's, and they had quite the go about as well. L.E. did message me both days to let me know that all was fine. They were no injuries reported. Everyone's good.
We definitely checked in on cameras all the time and just felt very much peace of mind that we didn't even have to message to say how are things going, that each one of them preemptively sent us stuff saying, here's a picture, everything's well. I mean, don't get me wrong, we were still looking at the cameras nonstop, but it gave us they were all very responsible and very, like I said, proactive and wanted us to feel comfort that they had things handled, and that gave us a really nice peace of mind.
Yeah. So Ben did not sleep with the animals in the shop. Guys, we haven't done a whole lot on this, but we have a little bit of a conversion going on as we speak. We're taking our time with this, but we're slowly converting the other end. We're finishing up a project that Mr. Dub and Miss Sharon started before they moved out of the property, and we're slowly converting a little small apartment, if you will. I can call it an apartment. I guess that's what you would call it. What would you call a small livable
It's like
space?
like a studio,
Yeah, we'll just
you
call
know.
it a studio. And so it has air conditioning, and we are working on some small things, fixtures and some doors and small things, and we will bring that to y'all. We've been trying to find ways to bring it, but there's been so many other projects, and our goals in all of this was to get the projects done first. We had to take care of the animals, and as you know, we work on a budget. The way we do Longhorn Lester's is we save, we work all month by making the videos. We save our money and we use that to do whatever projects need to be done. And so our goal, our number one goal was to get the pastures built, get the pond dug. What else have we done over there? The barn for the cows,
Fencing,
along with the
little
cross fencing,
shelters.
the shelters. We've done a lot. And so now we're kind of turning our attentions now to trying to finish up the little livable space. And so Ben did not have to sleep with the animals. He wouldn't have done that. Ben would have probably drawn the line at that, and it's too hot to camp out. So I doubt Ben would have done that. But yes, there'll be a whole lot more to come on that when we're ready to bring it to you. But no, Ben did the overnights, and Ellie went up and did all the chores. I think on Ellie's page, I believe he will probably bring you videos of the chores being done. He may have already posted those. I have no idea. I've had no time to figure out hold on, someone talking about the geese.
Oh boy.
I saw the geese.
Are you going to take any geese to Longhorn Lester?
That's what it's,
right
when
here.
you see it where?
Right here.
All right, so let's have a little discussion about this. Let's have a fun discussion. Hey, Jamie, I like that bunkhouse.
Okay.
We could call it the bunkhouse.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, are you going to take any geese to Longhorn Lester's? Now, listen, it's okay to disagree with each other. We already have learned, guys, we've learned that it's completely okay. We can agree that in life, we're going to sometimes disagree. And it doesn't change anything about how we feel about each other. We just don't agree. And there's things that Jamie and I don't agree with. And there's things that you and I don't agree with. But we still love you. And I hope that you still love us and we still love each other. But I prefer, my preference would be not to have any feathered babies at Longhorn Lester's. Now, of course, right now, there's not a place for them anyway. The pond does not hold enough water. The little bit of water in the pond, they would pollute and make it to where our cows and horses couldn't sip or drink from it. It has to be filtered or at least aerated. And we don't have that set up yet. The river would be too dangerous. They would not last on that river.
No, the river is not a place for any feathered fowl like we have here. Not like pets.
And then I guess the last thing is, and this is the biggest one over here, guys. The biggest one over here is this, the noise. And some folks don't consider it to be noise. They find it lovely to hear the sounds of your roosters crowing and your hens squawking and your geese straight out screaming at you and all of the noises that the ducks can make. And some people just love that. And that's harmonious to your ears. And it sounds like a real farm. But personally, when I go to Longhorn Lester's, I don't hear any of that. There's sometimes a neighbor has a rooster we can hear crowing, but that's far off in the distance. So I can barely hear it coming through the trees, through the woods. And we don't have to deal with all of that noise. I'm sorry, I call it noise. And so I love that. I love the peace and quiet. And so if you've noticed something, Jamie, and this is true, how many times have you read that people say, Lester, you're so much more at peace and calm? My demeanor when I'm at Longhorn Lester's, the videos of me at Longhorn Lester's are an entire different tone of level of whatever you want to call it, anxiety or emotions or whatever. because it is truly a place of peace and quiet. And I think that the feathered babies would make it loud. They would make it loud. I'm a Survivor is very loud. Arms Family Homestead is very loud. Cog Hill Farm is very loud. It's the feathered babies. It's not the other animals. It's the feathered babies make it so loud. And I would just rather not. Now, of course, we know there's going to be reasons why it would be beneficial to eventually have some chickens and some ducks and some geese. But I just would rather not. And if you're going to say, go ahead and talk. So what's your opinion on this? And tell me, just justify it.
So I see both sides. Don't get me wrong. I do agree that the silence out there is calming, but I also see that this is a much more condensed space that we're in here. So it does feel loud. You have metal buildings that are 50 feet with more metal buildings. So the sound here that happens is loud, and roosters are loud, and the geese can be loud. But if you sit in the front yard right now, you don't hear them out at the pond. You don't hear them out the pond. And we feed them 30 feet from our porch. So you do hear them a lot more. So,
but Jamie, you're forgetting one thing. Whenever I walk outside, the geese come to me, like after me. And so how am I supposed to ever walk out to Longhorn Lester's and make my walk to all the different pastures without having to stop midway and fight off geese? And how can that be peaceful for anybody?
But here's the thing.
So do you care about do you care what part of this? When do you say that I care about you, Lester, and your well-being enough to leave the geese here at I'm a Survivor?
I didn't say I was bringing them. I just said I see both sides, and you asked me to talk.
Okay.
So I think that first, if we were to take chickens over there after we've built a coop, and I mean, all of that is future, right? Then I also think that chickens aren't as loud as roosters. So we don't necessarily have to have a rooster. So that would be step one. And as far as the geese, my fears are like, yes, I still feel like we have too many geese here for our size. We never intended to have more than the 5 that we have. And, folks sent those, which they're a blessing. They're a blessing. But I would fear actually splitting them up now, because I know who hangs with who and whatnot, but like they are a flock, like a together flock. One might separate out. Like we have one right now where the Ice Queen is laying eggs. In fact, she left us a surprise on the driveway. But she still is part of our flock. And when she's outside, they're all kind of like, the rest are still together, and then she'll be welcomed back in. But my fears is like, what if I picked the wrong crowd, like to split up and that type of thing. And that's something, and I would also be terrified because we do have predators out there that would affect feathered babies. So I don't necessarily think that it's the best place for them. And it's not just because you need it quiet. It is because I really do believe that their best life is here. So if something would happen here, then yes, of course. But for the most part, I think that we're okay where we're at.
So some people have jokes. So there are some folks that think this is the funniest thing ever. And as you guys who watch my dad's channel know, you know that I can't stand guineas, and most people can't. But for some reason, my dad loves them. And with as many problems as we've had with guineas around here, my dad's about to hatch off 40-something more. And I think it's funny that some of y'all are saying, hey, unplug Papa's incubator while you still can. Just go over there and unplug that incubator. I'm not going to do that and sabotage my dad's guineas. It's just what my dad loves. It's what my dad does. I'm sure there's probably habits that I have that my dad had to put up with through the years. I will say that the guineas are not going to be as big of a problem now because, friends, when we pulled up our driveway today, I don't know how it happened, but miraculously over the 2 or 3 days that we were gone, all of that pond is surrounded by the most beautiful green grass.
It's like a giant chia pet, and it's beautiful.
Yes, and I made a video that I'll stick on here. I think I'm going to play it for you tomorrow because I want you to see it right away. I don't want you to wait. I've already built it. I've already uploaded it. So now I'm going to schedule it for y'all to watch tomorrow morning. Or if not tomorrow, it'll be very soon. But I tell you what, it's looking good. And at this point, the guineas can't really hurt us. They can still come in the yard and dig holes. But if you don't know this, I was gifted a salt gun. It's a pump shotgun that shoots salt. It shoots salt, like salt, kitchen salt. And so it's not harmful to anybody. Jamie's saying, hold on. I don't know what she wants me to hold on for.
Just keep going. I got to do something real quick.
But Jamie has, thinks this is the funniest thing. But no, I've been able to walk out with my salt gun where you can't hurt anybody. And I can just shoot salt.
Because, can y'all see some of this? I'm watching the camera the other day and I'm like, this is weird. Look at, he's like strolling by the camera with a camera and a gun, like a terrorist of some sort.
There. Back it up and pause it. And so I actually, because, hey, I'm a video maker. So what I was doing on that particular day was showing you all the new salt gun that I have. It's not a BB gun, so it's not going to hurt anybody. It doesn't shoot rock salt. It just shoots fine, tiny,
like regular table
grains
salt.
of salt. To test it out, I let Jamie shoot me in the arm. Yeah. And I felt the salt. I just mostly felt the air and a couple of little grains of salt. It can also shoot fine sand.
But like 1 grain at a time. It's not like it pumps it out like that. Like it is the most finite little thing, and it uses air to push 1 grain. Is it grain?
No, it has
granule
more,
of salt.
It has more than 1 granule at a time.
Well, it's still, people are like, it's gonna kill your grass. It's not like that. It's like,
I don't think so.
It's like granule, like it holds 1/4 of a teaspoon, the entire gun.
Yeah, and so I don't know if y'all know this or not, but does anyone know, or do you know why they actually, when I opened the salt gun and I was reading about it, that they don't make it to shoot guineas.
No.
You can, but they make it for another household. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
For what?
I read the box before I threw it away.
It's made to get flies.
Yeah.
Instead of taking your fly swatter and going around popping flies, instead you can have a little fun and bam.
I did it on a conference call the other day while you were.
You shot a fly. Did it work? Did it kill it? And so you're able to kill flies. Yeah, everyone's saying it. They kill flies with those things. They kill flies, not cats. You don't shoot your cats, okay? You shoot flies. And so they're made to shoot flies. And that right there tells you alone it's not going to affect the guineas at all, but it will put the fear of God in them whenever I cock it and get my phone out, because they don't want to be on videos looking like a bunch of fools. And then I also have to have a little fun by say hello to my little friend.
I didn't do any of that. I was like on a call and I'm listening and very intently, and there's a fly that was like crawling across the top of my laptop. So low key, I'm over here cocking and I'm like shooting off camera, hoping that no one sees me, because it was like a 3-hour conference call that I was listening to. And I did it, and I was proud, all without anyone knowing.
Really? What does over here say? It works too. My sister had one, and we all had a good time with it on the 4th of July shooting flies. That actually could be a really fun challenge.
Great challenge.
Because every once in a while, we have a cat, Mr. Hank. You all know Mr. Hank, our cat here at the house, who can go to the sliding glass door, and he can manipulate that door and open it to go in and out. And so sometimes we'll come home from being gone for a few hours, and our door is cracked open so far because Hank has either come in or out.
Now Maggie can do it as well.
Now Maggie can do it.
Of course, Trixie can. Trixie is like the ninja of all ninjas. Ritzy will not do it, but she will take advantage of it after everyone else has done that.
But hold on. The good thing is when Maggie opens the door, Maggie will also close it behind her. She also puts the seat down to the toilet when she's done. But it's Hank, Mr. Hank, that opens the door and leaves it open. Sometimes invites Pablo to come in and everyone else who can squeeze through.
Oh.
And so on those days,
it's Hank's fault.
On those days, we do have fly issues. So that I cannot wait to shoot my first fly. Right now,
I'll record it in slow-mo for you.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. But guys, we're going to go ahead and get off of here. We've held you for an hour. It was great seeing Jason.
Sorry we couldn't figure out the audio.
We're going to play with that a little bit more. And Jason is really a very techie kind of guy.
Yeah, he
and
probably has it already figured out.
He will figure it out, and then we'll communicate. And so next time we can do that, because I would love to be able to share our friends and make them become your friends. And I would never encourage you to go out and become friends with people who I didn't think were good people. And I feel like I made that mistake a while back. About a year ago, I began to encourage you guys to follow certain folks who I found out later were probably didn't really have your best interest at heart. And I kicked myself in the behind for that over and over and over. And I'm not going to mention any names, so don't worry about that. But I do feel like Jason at Cog Hill and Daniel over there at Arms Family, along with DJ and Brooke and Mary Carl and the whole Arms family and the Smith family are just really good people, just good people who I wish we lived closer, because we probably would spend a lot of time at each other's homes. And it's rare that you find good people like that, but it was kind of a destiny, you might say, or fate, a common interest in social media that brought us all together. I'll tell you one funny story before we actually say our goodbyes. Do you remember how Jason and I became acquainted?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
You remember this story?
Mm-hmm.
So this is funny, but we had just gotten Carl, and there's a lot of you guys that already had followed Jason at Cog Hill. We didn't. We knew about the channel. I'd seen a few of his videos, but at that point we were producing videos, not watching other videos. So we didn't really watch a lot. We heard of Jason. We'd seen a few videos, Mary Carl, and everyone knows that on that channel, Mary Carl, who I believe is 12.
Somebody just said it. Keep talking.
I believe that Mary Carl is about 12, I think. But Mary Carl is their chicken expert. Mary Carl is a young lady. Mary Carl is a young lady who has a passion for feathered babies.
An incredible passion.
And she's just so knowledgeable. And so even though Jason and Brooke, they spend their time with their chickens, Mary Carl spends her days with them chickens. And we had gotten Carl, and we were so curious about what to do with this or what to do with that or what to do about this. We weren't real sure what we were doing with that rescue Carl, that 8-foot rescue bird. That was an
understatement. Let's be real here.
Yeah, we weren't real sure what to do with Carl, because we're just trying to learn our way. And man, our comments were we were being bombarded with these comments of, you have to reach out to Mary Carl. Mary Carl can tell you what to do. And so I wasn't going to reach out and ask a 12-year-old little girl to help me with an 8-foot ostrich. But because I'd seen enough videos to know that Mary Carl handles pigeons. Mary Carl does chickens. Mary Carl does geese. And so as a joke, as a typical Lester joke video, I made a video where I said, so I reached out to Mary Carl, and thank y'all. She gave me some advice we're going to try today. And now this is all just fake stuff. I made all this stuff up. I didn't reach out to Mary Carl. I said, Mary Carl told me, take these animal crackers that Carl loves and feed Carl a couple of them, and then put them in my pocket.
Tortillas.
Was it tortillas?
Mm-hmm.
Feed him some tortillas, put them in my pocket, and walk around the pasture. Let him know that I'm a good guy and he can follow me around, and all will be well. And whenever I feel like it, I can just pull off a tortilla. So what I did was, knowing what was going to happen, I geared myself up. I put on my body armor, and I went ahead and went out there to that pasture, and I fed Carl a couple of tortillas. And then I put them in my pocket, and I began to walk around, and Carl came at me. You guys know how Carl can get when he was in a bad mood. He did not want me in that pasture. He came at me a hissing. His wings are out. He hits me. He kicks me. I fall over. But it was all for your entertainment purposes. It was all for your entertainment, because as I fall over, I have my phone in selfie mode. So I'm watching Carl beat the hell out of me from the backside. And as I'm falling over, I'm like, thanks a lot, Mary Carl. And that's when my face goes into the dirt.
Poor Mary Carl.
And the truth is, Mary Carl had never said a word to me about Carl. Mary Carl, which is Mary Carl, I'd never spoken to Mary Carl. Well, a lot of people thought that I was making fun of Mary Carl, and they went to tattletale on me. They went to Jason's page and began to link my video to Jason's page. So Jason, who also had heard of us, didn't follow us, just knew we were another farm, farm channel. He's like, ain't no one gonna mess with my little girl. Ain't no one gonna mess with my little girl. Obviously, Jason watches the video and he finds out real fast that it was all made out of humor. Jason got the humor, and he understands that people on social media can sometimes look to start drama. Mm-hmm. Sorry, we do that sometimes. And so he got a great laugh out of it. He reached out to Daniel, who we had as a mutual friend, and he asked Daniel for my phone number. And so he called me and we talked, and and he says, hey man, he goes, I know that was hilarious. He goes, I laughed, Mary Carl laughed. He goes, we watched it multiple times. And so from that day on, we made each other's acquaintance, and we've had a lot of fun. We've actually really talked to Mary Carl. We've also actually really did ask Mary Carl for advice. Jami had a broody chicken who, I forgot that story. What was that broody chicken story that you had to ask Mary Carl for some advice about?
What to do to make her not broody anymore, because Goldie was sitting on like her third
round
of eggs in a row, and she was just depleted. So Mary Carl, actually, we FaceTimed her on a live, I think, and I had to ask her for advice, and that was the most legit advice, and it was perfect. And she's just a brilliant little girl, and I have full-blown pigeon envy, by the way. I want pigeons that fly back to me. I want to be able to walk around and love on my feather babies like that, because I can only do it with a few. And Mary Carl is the feather whisperer, and she is a brilliant little girl, a young lady now. And we were really honored to be able to meet Jason, and I can't wait to meet Mary Carl and Brooke, and to be able to laugh about the body armor that you wore and the fact that you tried to say that she gave you advice.
That was a lot of fun making those videos. Anita, you know what? We will do that. It's 4 o'clock now. We're going to run outside and do our chores here. And then we're going to head over to Longhorn Lester's. And I don't mean to take up your entire day. So folks, by all means, if you're like had enough of us, because we've come live a lot. We've come live a lot this over the past weekend, trying to show y'all. We want to share special moments of ours with you. It's kind of like when you go see a movie that you really enjoy, you want to go home and tell everybody about it. You read a good book, you want to tell everybody about it. You want them to watch. Look at this video. You want them to see things that made you laugh and smile and feel good. And so we felt pretty good. We've been really excited. It's been an exciting weekend for us, and we just want to share that with people that we care about. But at the same time, have you ever had a friend trying to just force something on you, and you have no interest? You don't find the humor. You don't want to know the story. You want to watch it for yourself. And so we're not trying to be over posting and just overbearing. So by all means, we'll go to Longhorn Lester's, and we'll try to stand as close to the little Wi-Fi connector as we can. Hopefully we can see the babies welcoming us home. Maybe they'll do some running and dancing. And if we get going, we can do that before it gets dark.
Yeah.
So you might see us in a couple of hours. I'd say around 6 o'clock or so. You might see us around 6. That's what we'll set our goal for. That'll be a great time to feed up. And if so, we will certainly do that for those who want to come back and watch the Longhorn Lester babies. But I will say this, the animals here are great.
Everybody's doing
when we pulled up, the pigs were not running and screaming. Animals will tell on you.
Oh yes.
Animals will tell on you. They have a consistent routine that they get very used to. And so they will let you know when it's time to eat. They'll let you know if something is not right. And so when we pulled up today, the horses were they're always at during the noon hour. The ducks and the geese, and we're doing their thing in the pond. the pigs were all laying out in the cooling area, and no one was screaming and hollering saying, we're hungry, we haven't been fed, the water's dirty, Jake's been mean to us. No one. So we feel like everything went very smooth over here.
Really good.
And when we pull up to Longhorn Lester's, we hope that the ostriches will be dancing, happy to see us, and the goats will do what they do. And we will, by all means, try to bring that to you all. Thank you all for loving us and supporting us, and just being there for us when we need you. Anything else you got to say, my love?
I hope that y'all have a really blessed afternoon. We'll talk to you this evening. Thanks for loving us.
All right. Bye, guys.